Hello guys, welcome back to this series on C programming. In this video, we will be learning about some exercise in C structure. So we will do an exercise together. The exercise is to write C program that reads a set of circles defined by the coordinate of their centers and their radius. So here we have the first structure is circle defined by two coordinates, center and the radius. Then read the coordinates of a point. We have here another structure point defined by two coordinates, and then display all the circles containing that point. So we have here the first structure is circles. We have a lot of circles, so we will use an array of circles, and we have a structure point. We will verify if the point is inside a circle or not. So we have here some indications. The point P will be inside the circle C of E if the distance between point P and the center of this circle is less than the radius of this circle. So a point is inside a circle if the distance between P and the center of the circle is less than the radius of the circle. The distance between 2 points here in the plane A and B is given by this formula. So we will use some mathematical formulas here. I repeat again how we will know if the point is inside the circle or not. We have to calculate the distance between the point and the center of the circle, and this distance must be less than the radius of this circle. So let's start together and let's see how we will do it in Execice. So let's start. The first thing here, as we said, we have two structures. We have structure circle and we have structure point. So the first thing, we will create our structures. So let's create structure, struct, circle. The struct circle is known by three attributes. We are going to use float because you will use circle, x for example, float y, and we have float radius. This is the first structure. The second structure, we have struct points. So point, as you know, is characterized by two coordinates. We have x and we have float here. As you know, here we can use the same attribute names because when we are going to call this point, this attribute, we have to tell first for which structure. So if we need this x, we will say point.x. If we need this x, we will say circle.x. So there is no problem if we use the same variable's name. Now, after creating the structure, here, the first thing, for example, we are going to create the circle, struct circle. We are going to use a lot of circles, so we have an array of circles. For example, C of 3. Let me use 3, for example, just to test quickly. The second struct point, we have P. Okay, now I create the circle C. This is my circle C. The type of this C is circle, and I create my point P. The type of this point is point. Okay, so inside those circles, the array of circle, for each circle we have three attributes. For this point we have two attributes. Now, the first thing, we have to ask the user how many circles that you are going to use. Okay, so here let me take, for example, 10. We will do an allocation in the memory of 10 circles, but if you will ask the user, for example, it can give 2 or 1 or 3. Printf, please give the circle number. So we have scanf, we have %d, and we have address of n. So here, as you can see here, I used a new variable n that will represent the circle number, so I have to come here and do the declaration of n. I have to define a variable before using. Now, the first thing, we have to enter the coordinate of the different circle. So here, for sure, we have to use 4. Why? Because we have repetitive action. We have a lot of circles. We will enter the coordinate, the different value of the coordinate of the different circles. So 4 is equal to 0. E less than, how many circles do we have? N. And we have E plus plus. We have here, please, or let me, printf, we will just write the number of circles, circle number %d, let me write /n to get a new line, e plus 1. We cannot, why it's e plus 1? Because the e is starting from 0. We cannot write circle 0, so we will start from 1. Circle 1. Here, printf, please give the coordinate of center. So the first thing, we have to give the coordinate of the center of the circle, and after we will give the radius of the circle. So we have here scanf. We have here 2 coordinates, so we are going to use in the same line %f. We have here address C of E dot, the first circle is C of E dot x. We are going to give the x and the y, and here we have address C of E dot y. Now I enter the coordinate of the center. Now what I have to do, I have to enter the radius of the circle. So printf, please enter the radius of circle. Now we will enter scanf %f. We are working with float address, where we are going to enter the radius. It's here in C of E dot radius. So enter now. We enter the number of the circle, and here we give the information of the different circles. Okay, enter now. It's okay. Now what do we have to do? The second thing here, we have point, structure point, and we have the variable p. We have to enter the coordinate, the value of the coordinate of the p. So here, printf, how many points do we have? We have just 1 point, so we are not going to use 4. So we have here, please enter the point P coordinate. We have here scanf %f, and we have address of P dot x, and we have here address of P dot y. So here we enter the coordinate of the different circle, we enter the coordinate of the point. Now what do we have to test? We have to test if this point is inside those circles. Okay, how we are going now? test, well, I will write a comment. Now we will test if the point P is inside the circles. We have a lot of circles, so we have to test all those circles. If this point is inside the circle 1, or the circle 2, or 3, or in the same time inside 1 and 2 and 3. So how we are going to test this? Now, the first thing, we have to calculate the distance. As we said, we have to calculate the distance by using this formula between the point and the radius and the center of this circle. Okay. After calculating this distance, we will compare if this distance is less or greater than the radius of this circle. We are going to use this formula. Now, this formula must be used. So here, the first thing that we have to do, we have to calculate the distance. So, for E is equal to 0, E less than N, E plus plus, what do we have? We will calculate the distance. This is equal to, here we used a new variable, so we have here to declare it, float, this. This is equal to SQRT. So here, to use this formula, we have to use a special function in C that we call SQRT. This special function is coming from maths.h library. Like here, like this, printf is coming from studio.h library, SQRT is coming from maths.h library. So we have to include this library. maths.h. Now we include the library, we can use the SQRT function. So this function SQRT is used to calculate the square root of a function. Here, what do we need to calculate? We have to calculate the square root of this formula. That's why we are going to use the SQRT function used from the maths.h. After, what do we have to use? We have to use the square of xa minus xb plus the square of ya minus yb. So this square will be used by another function that we call pow. It's also included in maths.h. So all math function will be included in maths.h. So here, to calculate the root, we will use the SQRT function, define it in the maths.library. And to calculate the squares, we will use the pow function, also defined in the same library. So we don't need another library for that. Now, we are going to calculate the distance between the point and the coordinate of the circle. So, by using, as we said, this formula between 2 points. So here, we need the square of the pow. This is the second function that I said that you will use to calculate the square. It's included inside maths.h. So what do we mean by included? For example, SQRT or pow. We don't need to explain to the compiler how SQRT and pow are working. The compiler will go to this library, will check, will understand by itself. So for us, we are just calling this function. So the pow, we are going to calculate the square of xy minus xb. The xy for us is the circle, the xb is the point. So we have here the circle. We have a lot of circles, so we have to do c of e dot x minus, we have dot x, sorry, not dot that, dot x, we have minus p dot x, and those two will be squared by 2. This is the formula that we have to use. So here, by this pole of c of e dot x minus p of x dot 2, we calculate the first part of this formula. Now we have to continue the second part. So we have here plus, as we said in the formula, we have plus, we have here the pole of the circle, second coordinate is y, minus p dot y, and for sure it will be squared by 2. This is the formula that we are going to use. So here we calculate the addition between this first part and the second part, and after we did the square root of those two. Okay, now what do we have to do? We have the distance between the point and the circle. Now we have to compare if this distance is less or greater than the radius. If this distance is less than the radius, so the point is inside. If this distance is greater than the radius, so this point is not inside. So we have to compare. What do we have to use? We have to use if. If this is less or equal to, what is the radius of our circle? It's say of I dot r. So what we are going to write, printf, the point, we are going to write the coordinate of the point, %f. %f is inside the circle with coordinates %f, %f, let me add here a comma also, we have coordinates, and radius of %f. And here, how many %f we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here I have to include all those variables. Okay, so it will be the first one, the point %f, %f. So it will be replaced by p dot x and p dot y. After is inside the circle with coordinate %f, %f. The coordinate of the circle is c of e dot x, c of e dot y, and c of e dot r. Let me write it here to be clearer. So we have here, if it's less or equal, so this point is inside, else printf, we are going to write is not inside. Printf, the point is not inside the circle. That's it. We close the for. Let me delete this one. And we close the program. So here, let me explain again what we did. So we have here, we create the struct circle. We create the struct point. After creating the struct, now we can create variables with those structs. So the first, we have an array of circle. We have a point. The first thing we have to tell, or the user have to tell the compiler how many circle we are going to work with. So here we have n. After, we have to enter the different coordinates of the different circle. So the coordinate of the circle will be registered in c of I dot x, c of I dot y, we have to give also the radius of the circle. After, we have to give the coordinate of the point. After giving all those informations, we have to compare the distance of the point and each circle. To use that, we have this formula from maths. We used a function from C, SQRC and point. Those functions are here, coming from maths.h library. And after, if the distance between the point and the circle is less than the radius, so the point is inside. Otherwise, the point is outside. Now, let's execute and check if we have any mistake. Here we have some problem, so let's see. SQRC of C of E I dot X. Yeah, here we have a parenthesis to delete. And point of plus. We have here also another parenthesis to delete. Now we can execute. So the first thing that the compiler will ask you, please give the circle number. For example, 3. Circle 1, please give the coordinate of the center. 2 coordinates, for example, 2 and 2. The radius of the circle, let me set also 2. Circle number 2, please give the coordinate of the circle. 3 and 3. The radius of the circle, let me also set 3. Circle number 3, I have 10, 10, and I will give 5. Now, after giving the different circles attributes, we are going to give the point coordinate. Let me give 1 and 1. So we have here the point 1 and 1 is inside the circle with coordinate and radius. Point 1, 1 is inside. Now we have here, it's not very clear to read this result, so we have to add /n to be clear, to have clear results. So here we are going to add here /n. Also here /n to get better result to read. Also, there is another thing here. The float that we are using are giving us 6 number after the decimal, which is not good to read. So now we have to add something. Just for example, we need 2 number after the decimal. So we have here how we can do it. We have here %f. We have to add 0.2. That's mean for this float number, give me just 2 number after the comma. Here also 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Also we have here 0.2, sorry, 0.2. We have 0.2 here, and we have another 0.2. Here also we have 0.2. Okay, now we can execute to get better result. Please give the circle number. Let me also try with 3. Circle number 1, 2, 2, and we have 3. Circle number 2, we have 3, 3, and 3. Circle number 3, 10, 10, 5. The point, let me try with 1, 1, the simplest one. Now we can read it clearly, this result. So we have the point 1, 1 is inside the circle 1 with coordinate 2, 2, and 3. Okay. The point 1, 1 is inside the circle with coordinate 3, 3, radius 3. But here the point 1, 1 is not inside the circle with coordinate 10, 10, and radius of 5. So, good result. I hope you understand the different step of this exercise. Please, if you have question, you can leave as a comment, or if you have any suggestion also, you can write it by comment. And don't forget to subscribe to be notified for the next video. And see you in next video. Thank you so much.